Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of What's This Wednesday. And this Wednesday we have a game called 20XX for you all. And this game is a wonderful new game that I got just on one of the fall sales, I should say. Man, if it was a summer sale already, I would be like, where did the winter go? My beautiful winter months! But today we've got 20XX, which is, as you can probably see on the video footage right now, it looks very Mega Man-y right out the gate. And it is. It very much so is. It's a Mega Man rogue-lite type game. So you're going to have a weird progression system, other than similar to Mega Man games, but a little bit different. After you jump into the game, it will start you off on a level. You don't get to pick who you go to first, it will just jump you into one. After you clear that level and reach a boss, you'll then have your choice of choosing one of 3 bosses coming up. So you don't have a grid where you get to keep choosing your same order. You kind of have to get lucky if you want to, beat a certain boss to then get a weakness to a different boss if you want to pick up that power-up. But just to get into the gameplay here a bit, it is very much so like Mega Man. You've got a couple characters. One is like your Mega Man, one is like your Proto Man. So you've got your Buster and your Sword. You can charge them up, and you can deal massive damage if you want. The movement controls are absolutely fantastic. They're punchy, they're sticky. You can easily nail any jump you want. It never feels unfair at all. And that's one wonderful thing about this game, is just the game feel that it has. It feels like Mega Man. I've been telling some friends that this pretty much is Mega Man, but better. With the recent Mega Man 11 coming out, which I've heard has been pretty good, but I haven't played it. So I'm just going to say that this game, though, scratches that Mega Man itch really hard. It's also a very good roguelite game as well. So if you have been having that itch for a new Mega Man game recently, you're going to want to pick this up. So the core gameplay loop of this game is very simple. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago, is that you go into a new round or a new run, you defeat the first boss, and you get to pick a next boss. You can earn things like Augs, which are augments to your character, which increase your stats. You can earn Nuts, which will help you buy items when you get to a shop, if you find a shop. And you can earn HP and energy to restore your energy for the weapons that you get after you defeat a boss, and for your main health pool. You can also pick up some armor. Actual armor tokens that will give you 2 hits of health before it actually... or 2 hits of gray health that will take away before your actual real health. So it provides you a little bit of stuff, and it also prevents knockback and stun when you get hit from them. So they're really valuable to have. They don't pop up too often, though. So another big draw to this game is the design. It's very Mega Man-esque inspired. I mean, everything's going to be Mega Man inspired here. It's a big homage to Mega Man. Even the name 20XX is ripped straight out of Mega Man. And even the intro sequence is ripped straight out of Mega Man 2, when it scrolls up the building and you see Mega Man on top, revealing with no helmet on, and he's looking off into the distance. Same thing. It's wonderful. The nostalgia feelings of this are great. And the design of the characters are wonderful. You've got your blue character and your red character, easily mimicking Mega Man and Proto Man, so people who are jumping in from older Mega Man games can easily find their favorite character and roll with it. There's also some DLC characters and hidden characters as well. I won't be detailing them in this video because I haven't purchased them, nor have I unlocked them. But if you're looking for a little bit of extra content, if you put the time in, you will get these characters eventually. I looked up how to get them, and I won't spoil that here, but it does take some involvement, and you will have to hone your skills in order to get them. You start out with a few separate types of game modes. You have normal mode, or easy mode, which means you won't be able to get achievements. Normal mode, which is your normal standard difficulty, and then your more difficult third mode, which will increase the difficulty and also increase the amount of rewards you can get for playing that specific mode. Another part of the core gameplay loop that is fascinating, that sort of deviates from the Mega Man formula, is that there is boss progression. Now you may be thinking, well, all games have a certain boss progression, that's just how it goes. But this one is special, because if you start out with getting one of the bosses in the first round, they will not have certain abilities or have certain attack patterns that they would have if you encountered them as the 6th boss in the 6th round. So they do have a difficulty system that goes, if you fight a boss first, it might not be the same as if you fight him in the last slot of your run before going to the 2 final bosses. So there creates this awesome dynamic of who do I want to leave till the end, and who do I want to fight now because some of them might take more health from me. I found a few select bosses that I really enjoyed keeping till the end because they were either very easy for me to defeat, or because by that time I would have a certain weapon that would be their weakness or help me defeat them a lot easier. There were a couple bosses that I knew I did not want to fight at the very end. The twins that have a Romeo and Juliet style fight, and for those of you who don't know that term from many RPGs, or MMOs I should say, a Romeo and Juliet fight is where if you kill one boss, you have only a limited amount of time to take down the other boss before the other boss that you've already downed has revived. So you have to kill them roughly within the same time frame. And that's always an interesting fight mechanic to me because I never really know what's going to happen. But I usually try and kill the twin celestial characters, the sun and the moon. I try and take them out pretty early so that way they don't activate that Romeo and Juliet part of their fight, because if you take them on in the first few fights, they won't have that ability. But if you take them on later on, the time in which you get to defeat them before they revive lessens, and so it can put a lot of strain on your run. And since it is a roguelite, if you die, you lose all your progress for that run. There are permanent upgrades and unlocks that you can get in the main hub area, so all of the soul chips that you gather while playing can be used to purchase permanent upgrades. These can be things like extra maximum health to start with, extra maximum energy. There can be cat helpers that will show up in certain levels of the run, so you can get extra money, extra nuts, extra health, extra energy, and even sometimes power-ups. They can give you augs or even armor bonuses. Now, these armor bonuses have sets to them, and they're not like the armor pickups that you get that will augment your health. These are actual augments to your armor. An arm piece, a head piece, a chest piece, and leg piece. And if you can get a full set of these, they will activate a special set bonus. And there are 4 sets that you start out with in the game: a yellow set, a pink set, a green set, and a red set, I believe. And each of these do different things and will affect you differently. My favorite set is probably the Owl Herald set, and that is the green set that allows you to have your charge attacks become even chargier, as it says in the description, so they can charge up to 1 higher additional level. If you get the whole entire set, it maximizes out your boss ability powers that you pick up, so they become super strong. They also become they also have a 50% chance to not cost you any energy when you use them, which is fantastic. And I had a broken setup where I had an item that looked like a scouter from Dragon Ball Z, which allowed me to shoot through walls. That, combined with the huge square weapon that you get from defeating Kerr, who's a dragon boss, and if you kill him, you'll get that giant square weapon, and that thing will just float through the entire level, and just, if you chase it long enough, it'll eventually deal enough damage to where it'll dissipate, rather than dissipating when it hits a wall, and it just destroys everything it touches at that point. It's wonderful, and hopefully there'll be that example on screen. There's also weapon variety for each character. So if you're thinking, oh, well, you only get like 1 sword and 1 gun, no, you can unlock different swords and different guns, and also find them in the levels. So if you go through the levels and you find chests, which there is 1 hidden chest in each level guaranteed if you look for it, then you can maybe get an upgrade to your weapon. Not your arm piece, it's at your actual weapon. So the main character, Nina, she has just the standard Mega Buster, I'm going to call it, right? The standard Mega Buster that just fires 3 bullets, or you can charge it up and blast it like Mega Man. She also has a spread gun that you can get, which fires 3 bullets out front. Then she can also get a cross bullet gun, which will fire 1 bullet in each cardinal direction, so up, down, left, and right. I believe Ace has a long spear and like knuckles that he can get, and the knuckles will create just a relentless punching flurry in front of him, and the spear will shoot out very far. And so I really enjoyed using the spear when I played him, but I don't have any footage from him because I have just this one run captured, and I actually ended up beating the game for the first time while capturing this footage, so that was awesome. So the weapon variety here, it exists, it's great. There are power-ups as well that I mentioned before, the augments to your system that you can get. Now, these augments range from anything like a slight increase to your attack damage, which would be your standard buster or sword, or a slight increase to your energy damage or your power damage, which would be the weapons that you get from the bosses, or you can get greater stat increases to those, which will then even further increase those stats. You can also get things like schematics. There's a schematic you can unlock as a permanent upgrade that will sometimes show up in levels, and if you get the schematic, it will increase all of your stats by 1. So your jump height, your dash distance, your speed, your attack power, your power. So it's just a fantastic thing to unlock. You can also get things like the loot magnet. So if you charge up your attack, it will suck in all of the loot around you, including nuts and health and energy. So if anything's in a precarious situation like on spikes, you don't have to risk going after it. There are also other ones that allow enemies to drop more health, drop more energy, drop more nuts, even larger nuts. I wanted to say nut sacks, but they're called nut stacks, which is one of the things. They're not bags of nuts. No, it's a nut stack, and you can even unlock one that will give you 25 nuts if you find it. And there's more than the 2 character types that I was talking about earlier. You can download a few of them for DLC. One of them has a bigger melee weapon. It's probably a lot slower. I didn't look into it because, like I said, I didn't purchase the DLC characters, but there is one Hawk who has a whip, and I was thinking that it's a really cool weapon to have in this game because it is sort of melee, but I wonder what else they would do with it. But its basic attack is with a whip weapon, and I thought that was really cool and a little bit extra flavor to the game if you're really enjoying this jam. But so far, the game is pretty much Mega Man rogue-lite. If Mega Man's not your thing, you're probably not going to enjoy 20XX, but this game is Mega Man, and it is wonderful. Like, it gives me all those feelings of Mega Man. Like, I love playing it. I picked it up, and I played it for multiple hours. I went through 2 or 3 runs, and if you defeat a level within a certain amount of time, you will actually get a speed bonus, and you'll get an additional chest at the end that will usually heal you up for extra points, or give you extra energy, or throw a bunch of nuts at you. Sometimes all 3. It depends on how fast you do it, I think. But just with all that combined, the character variety, the weapon variety, the boss variety, even the stage variety, sometimes you won't even fight the same boss on the same stage. Sometimes the stages will be different, which have their own unique hazards. They're randomized, and even the stages change like the boss's progression system does. The bosses will get stronger and have different attacks and more utility to their own kits, and then the stages will also change as well. They'll become more hazardous and more perilous. And if you can manage to get through all of the 8 bosses in the game, you will make it to fight the 2 final bosses, which there is a story to this game. There are 2 doctors, and the doctors are, using Ace and Nina, I believe, and they're using them for scientific experiments. And so you have like this little helper robot that comes with you, Al, the AI, I believe his name was, and so he helps you out, and like he'll stop, if you're doing well in the thing, you'll get a little cutscene where he stops the doctors from ejecting you or frying you or doing whatever it is instead of giving you a reward for a job well done, and then you keep progressing. And then if you defeat all 8 bosses, you'll have to end up fighting the 2 doctors themselves. And so that's a huge, big, nice little... It's not a good story, but it's a Mega Man type game. What kind of story do you need? Other than you're a robot sent to destroy other robots, have a good shooty pew-pew time. So I highly recommend 20XX. If you're looking for something to scratch that Mega Man itch, and Mega Man 11 didn't do it, and you're looking for something a little bit more along the lines of Mega Man X, this will be your jam. Once again, I recommend it a lot. I think I picked it up for under $10 on Steam during the fall sale, and I haven't regret my purchase. I have been having a wonderful time, and I'm even going to go play some more of it probably after this. Who knows? But that'll be all for this edition of What's This Wednesday, highlighting 20XX this week. And until next week or another Random Wednesday, take care, everybody.